does a sound that meant nothing to you on Monday become unmistakable by Friday? Why is it that the more often a clip is replayed, the more certain people become of words that were never confirmed to be in it? And why, in a case this heavily covered, has the single longest stretch of the most important recording in the Nolan Wells investigation gone almost entirely unplayed? There is an answer to that. It is not comfortable, and it does not belong to any of the accounts that have been feeding your timeline for the past month, because what I have in front of me is not a 4-second fragment lifted from someone else's upload. It is the complete recording, released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. Every exchange, every question the dispatcher asked, and every answer she was given. Alongside it, the on-record findings of a digital forensic specialist who examined the version the internet has been circulating and compared it, file against file, with the original, and the public statements of the people who were actually on that island. By the end of this, you will understand why so many channels stopped their playback where they did. If you want the evidence handed to you whole rather than trimmed to fit a thumbnail, take a second right now to like this video and subscribe to True Crime Victims. This is the channel that plays the tape.
To connect you.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir?
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag on
unless you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How many? All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. Alright, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 30 degrees by 4672.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
No, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right, well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn Island? Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in 17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right, have to ask. What do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right, where would you like it towed to, sir?
You can tow it to Ocean Springs Harbor, or Fort Bayou Launch.
All right, how many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So, is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question. Hello, can you hear me?
How to jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay.
How many adults on board?
There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody
right.
here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question. Is there a person, a living individual on the boat?
Hello?
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, how many people, sir?
Like 7.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right, verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22-foot offshore 22-foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
All right. All right. Please hold. I'm transferring you to the local captain now.
Okay, thank you.
This is Captain Seth.
Hi, Captain Seth. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee-for-service come up under Jerry.
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking, and he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So
Right.
he said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said a Triton 24-footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And
Is it
he
Jerry?
said that Jerry. Yeah, he said
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So
All right.
I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic. He's saying the bilge is not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get it. It's a kid. He just doesn't understand.
Oh, okay. Do you still have him on the line?
Yes, I still have him on the line. And, again, I couldn't find he couldn't give me anything regarding his grandfather's, membership, so it's just under Jerry fee-for-service.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just talked to, if you want to, we're so tied up right now, we can't really do any non-member jobs right now.
Is Jerry a member? Did you find out if he was a member or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's his boat or what. I'm not sure what's going on with it. But yeah, transfer the kid over. I'll talk to him, and then I'll call his grandpa back as well.
All right. And did you want me to look up Jerry's membership number or anything like that to see if he's up? I know you guys are
You can
swamped.
try this cell phone number.
All right. Yep. Jerry. Yeah, he's an active member. Hold on.
What kind of boat do you have on there? Same boat?
Yeah, he's one. Yeah, he's one of your members. Yep, 22-foot Triton. All right. I'll just disregard this one. I'm gonna send you over an accurate one under this Jerry Ackerson one. Okay, he's one of your members. You'll get in a couple minutes. Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right, and yeah, just transfer this kid over whenever you get a chance.
All right, transfer him now. Thank you again, Captain.
All righty.
Stay safe out there. It's crazy. Have a drink.
Oh, it's wild. All righty, thank you.
Thank you.
Start with the file itself, because that is where the story of the last 2 weeks quietly fell apart. The recording at the center of everything is a call placed on the afternoon of the 4th of July. It did not go to 911. It did not go to the Coast Guard. It went to CETO, a private marine assistance company that operates on memberships, the maritime equivalent of roadside recovery. Marine Resources released that audio to the media, which means every second of it originates with a government agency rather than an anonymous account. Then a version appeared that had been processed for clarity, and with it came a list of phrases people said they could now hear underneath the conversation. Those phrases traveled further and faster than the call itself. Digital forensics expert Robert Fried obtained both files. He compared the enhanced version against the original and reported that the circulating file runs 20 seconds longer than the recording the state put out and carries a different digital fingerprint. He listened for the words being repeated across social media. He could not corroborate them. He said something else that deserves more attention than it received. He explained that when he first learned what people claimed to be hearing, his own mind began reaching for those same words before he had analyzed anything. That is not a criticism of the public. It is a description of how human perception works. Once you are told what a distorted sound is supposed to be, your brain will supply it. Fried also noted that portions of the released audio had been redacted, which means information embedded in the file may not be present in what any of us are working with. No agency has verified the enhanced audio. No forensic authority has confirmed a single one of those phrases. That does not make the recording meaningless. It means the people selling certainty skipped the step that would have cost them the story. So set the enhancement aside and listen to what is plainly audible, because that is where this gets difficult. A teenager reaches a dispatcher. He tells her they are at the western tip of Horn Island. Their bilge pump has failed. They are taking on water. He asks her to come. She works through her procedure. How high is the water? He tells her it is at their ankles, then immediately admits he cannot really measure it, only that they are going down. She needs a membership number. He does not have one. A phone number attached to the account. He does not have that either. He offers a family name and asks her to try it, uncertain whether he is even pronouncing it correctly, while insisting he knows the membership exists. His signal keeps failing. He goes to retrieve GPS coordinates and reads them back through a connection that breaks apart mid-sentence. She asks whether the vessel carries a VHF radio, the one piece of equipment that would make every part of this simpler. It does not. She asks whether the boat has run aground. He says it has not. He identifies the vessel as a Triton. And somewhere in the middle of all of this, he turns away from the phone to shout an instruction to someone else on board about the drain plug. That is the call the internet has heard fragments of. What follows is the section almost nobody has published. She places him on hold and transfers to the local captain, and for several minutes, two professionals speak to one another while the boy waits on the line. She tells the captain, it sounds like a group of kids on Horn Island, that the caller says a family member holds the membership but cannot produce anything to prove it, that he is young, that a great deal is happening around him, and that he does not fully understand what is being asked of him. She mentions she offered him the Coast Guard, and he turned it down. The captain already knows about this boat. He tells her he has just come off the phone with an older relative he believes owns the vessel, and that relative told him something that has gone almost entirely unremarked across a month of national coverage. They do not need help right now. If anything changes, they will call back. The captain repeats it plainly. He assumes they must have resolved it, because that is what he was told. So while a teenager sits on hold describing a vessel taking on water with 7 people aboard, An adult on the mainland has already told the towing company the situation is handled. How that assurance was arrived at, from shore, in that moment, has not been publicly explained by anyone. Now the exchange that has been quoted in pieces across 100 videos, given to you complete, because the pieces change its meaning. The dispatcher asks how many adults and children are on board. He says there are no children. She asks again for a number of adults. He tells her there are 0 adults on the boat. She stops following her script. She asks whether there is nobody on the vessel at all, and he answers a question she has not asked. He says nobody there is over the age of 21. So she escalates, and the words she is forced to reach for tell you exactly what she has begun to imagine at the other end of that line. Is there a person on the boat? A living individual? Someone breathing? Only then does he confirm it. There are plenty of people breathing. She asks how many. He estimates 7. Take the ordinary explanation first, because it is very probably the correct one. He is a teenager. The hull is filling. People are shouting behind him. She wants a head count for a rescue. And he is answering from a legal definition of adulthood rather than a practical one. That is not a person selecting his words. That is a frightened kid running 2 thoughts at once and losing both. Context belongs here as well. Witnesses told investigators that Nolan had been drinking heavily on the island, according to a preliminary document from Marine Resources. A friend who was there has said publicly that most of the group, Nolan included, had been drinking, while also saying that Nolan appeared completely fine. And this matters. No toxicology has been released, and it remains unclear how officials arrived at that assessment on the 5th of July. But the exchange that should stop you is not that one, and it is not hidden in any background noise. Earlier in the same call, the dispatcher asks whether everyone on board is otherwise in good health. He says yes, and then, in the very next breath, he tells her he does not actually know. Sit with the shape of that. Not a denial, not an assurance, an answer that collapses under its own weight, given by someone standing on a deck, looking directly at the people he is being asked about. Moments later, she asks whether they need the United States Coast Guard. He asks her to repeat the question. She repeats it. He declines. 7 people. Nobody over 21. A vessel taking on water off an uninhabited barrier island, with no shelter and no communication, no radio, cell service failing every few seconds, and the only agency that performs open water rescue is turned away by someone who could not tell her how many people were aboard. There is an ordinary reading of that too, and it deserves stating. Teenagers on a borrowed boat, alcohol on board, weighing what an official response brings with it. That calculation is made on the water more often than people care to admit, but it was made aloud, on a recorded line, by the person holding the phone. It required no enhancement software to hear. It has been sitting in the public file since the day Marine Resources released it. 2 days later, a park ranger found Nolan Wells in the water off the northwestern tip of that island. His official autopsy is complete and sealed for a grand jury. The independent examination returned a cause and manner that remain undetermined. No suspect has been named. No foul play has been established, which leaves the one thing I have not yet played for you. Underneath every word of that conversation, the original file carries a heavy floor of noise, multiple voices, shouting. That is where part 2 begins. If you want that breakdown the moment it lands, like this video, and subscribe to True Crime Victims, and stay with me. We are not finished with this recording. Underneath every word of that conversation, there is a second recording running. Wind, an engine, water, and people, more than one, talking over each other while a teenager tries to hold a phone line together. At one point, he turns away from the mouthpiece and tells them to be quiet so he can hear the dispatcher. That is the layer. That is what the entire internet has spent the last 2 weeks straining to pull apart. So let me tell you exactly who did the pulling, because almost nobody covering this has named both of them. A Texas audio engineer named Janetta Brantley heard the call after it was published and could not accept what her ears were reporting. 16 years in professional audio and post-production, a degree in music production, a master's in entertainment business, and a working life spent in dialogue cleaning and sound design. She took the file into her own systems, separated the channels, adjusted frequencies, and isolated the background speech from the engine and the wind. She has said the process took 9 hours on a clip, lasting well under a minute. She made one decision that deserves to be stated plainly, because it is the most credible thing about her work, and it is routinely left out. She refused to use artificial intelligence tools. She has explained her reasoning directly. Those systems can generate sound that was never in the original, and she wanted the recording to stay authentic. She used conventional engineering software instead. She posted her version publicly on the 26th of July. Then she did something people trying to manufacture a scandal do not do. She asked federal investigators to run the same file themselves, saying the Bureau holds equipment capable of producing a clearer result than hers. She has stood behind her work publicly through weeks of accusations that she used the very technology she refused to touch. The following day, a national outlet published its own enhancement. It reported that roughly 12 seconds in, the background appears to contain a question about whether someone is dead, along with what sounds like a name, an expression of shock, an instruction concerning someone's chest, and a voice telling a person to wake up. That outlet did not print those as established fact. It printed them as what someone seems to say. That qualifier has been surgically removed from nearly every video produced since. And then digital forensics expert Robert Fried pulled both versions and compared them, and his findings are uncomfortable for everybody. The circulating file runs 20 seconds longer than the recording the state released. The two carry different digital fingerprints and different content. He preserved each from its original source, transcribed both independently, and could not corroborate the reported phrases. He also admitted something most experts would never put on record. When he first learned what people claimed to be hearing, his own mind reached for those exact words before he had analyzed anything at all. There is a name for that: auditory. Pareidolia. The brain supplies expected language into noise. It is why people hear messages in reversed records, voices in static, and their own name across a crowded room. It is not gullibility. It is ordinary perception. And it sharpens enormously the moment somebody tells you what to listen for. So hold two ideas simultaneously. The words may be there. Nobody has demonstrated that they are not, and no agency, no independent forensic authority, and no verified process has confirmed a single one of them. Anyone telling you this recording proves Nolan Wells was on that boat is asserting something no examination has established. Anyone telling you it proves nothing is committing the identical error from the opposite direction. The honest position is that this evidence is contested, and it remains contested until someone with subpoena power and a proper laboratory publishes findings. If that is the version of this case you want, the one that separates what is established from what is merely being repeated, subscribe to True Crime Victims and hit the like button. Because the outlet that published that enhancement also published something else that same week, pointing in the opposite direction entirely, and almost nobody using the first has touched the second. Sources with direct knowledge of the investigation told that outlet authorities have evidence placing Nolan on Horn Island after the boat departed. At least 2 people interviewed by law enforcement reported seeing him there once it had already turned for the mainland. If that holds, he was not among the 7 aboard during that call. Every interpretation constructed on those background voices collapses at the foundation. Both stories ran within days of each other from the same publication. A channel that broadcasts one and buries the other is not following a case. It is selecting the version that performs. There is a third element in that reporting, and it is thinner than it appears. Sources indicated that people who were on the boat have heard the enhanced version and are describing it to those around them as nothing more than panic over a sinking vessel. Those same sources declined to say what was actually spoken. Read that carefully. A denial containing no content is not a confession. It is also not a denial. It is what people communicate through intermediaries once attorneys are involved. And attorneys are now involved on every side of this. Warren Hudson has given his own account publicly. He describes someone in the group panicking, trying to get Nolan to leave with them, shouting for him to get on the boat. In that reading, a voice saying Nolan is a person calling across open water, not standing over anyone. That explanation has been ridiculed for weeks. It deserves better than ridicule, because it is the only account anyone has offered that is genuinely testable. A group scrambling off a flooding vessel while one person remains ashore would sound precisely like that. Nobody has produced anything that settles it either way. But there is someone who was standing beside Nolan in those final minutes, and her family has described something that fits neither version. The friend's account has been consistent from the start. Nolan chose to remain because he was speaking with a 19-year-old woman he had met that day. Hudson has stated it without hedging. Nobody abandoned him, they asked. He decided to stay. Her sister told a British newspaper something different. She said the young woman spoke with Nolan and walked away believing he was preparing to board the boat he had arrived on, and that she assumed the friends calling to him would never leave without him. Said those side by side. The person he supposedly stayed behind for believed he was leaving. Ben Crump reduced it to its simplest form for reporters. She says he was getting on the boat. They say he did not. Nolan's parents have maintained since July that they do not believe their son separated from that group by choice. Now the counterweight, because this is where most channels stop the tape. Former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer has argued that both accounts can be true at once, and that this reads to her as a timing problem rather than dishonesty from anyone. The conversation ends. She walks away, believing he is about to board. Whatever occurred in the minutes afterward, she never witnessed. That accounts for a great deal. It does not account for what happens roughly an hour later, when a call goes out from a sinking boat, and a teenager tells a dispatcher everyone aboard is fine, and then says he does not really know. The family did not wait on the state. They brought in Dr. Roger, a Mitchell Jr., president of the National Medical Association and former chief medical examiner for Washington. He examined Nolan on the 10th of July. The findings were announced on the 22nd at the NAACP National Convention in Chicago. Cause of death, undetermined pending investigation. Manner of death, the same. Mitchell identified the limitations himself, and he ranked them. The most significant was his inability to directly observe the airway and lungs for water, or the stomach for its contents. Toxicology had not been received, and decomposition can obscure injuries and complicate everything that follows. What he did not find belongs in any honest account of this. No apparent lacerations, no balium fractures, no balium deep tissue injuries. Though he wrote that decomposition can conceal bruising at the skin surface, particularly during a second examination, he did document a roughly 12 by 8 inch area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissue at the back of the head. His report states the cause is unclear. Dr. Kendall von Crowns, chief medical examiner in Tarrant County, Texas, who has no involvement in this case, has said it could represent decompositional changes in the musculature, or blunt force injury to the back of the head and neck. One finding, two readings, opposite implications. Portions of the interior of the neck had been retained by the state during the first autopsy. Mitchell himself noted, "This is common forensic pathology practice, and other pathologists reviewing the report have agreed it is routine, often done precisely to examine those structures more closely. But the consequence stands as written. This pathologist cannot rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or cause of death." And he made one further point that may be the most important sentence in the entire document. When a body is recovered from water and drowning is suspected, how that person entered the water matters. He noted this carries particular weight in the deaths of people who could swim. Nolan could swim, a multi-sport athlete at Ocean Springs High School, class of 2025, on his way to play football at Southwest Mississippi Community College. That is the question no examination of a body alone will ever resolve. Not what the water did to him, how he got into it. Everything in this case now turns on findings that exist and have not been released. Subscribe to True Crime Victims and stay close, because when that state report is unsealed, this channel will walk it line by line and let you decide what it means. We are not finished here.